His property. Yeah, all of that.
This is the City of Montgomery McCown public meeting. This is actually running a little bit different. It's a public meeting versus an actual meeting for business. This is more informative for the stakeholders of downtown in the City of Montgomery. It's July 9th, 2022. Calling to order will be Brian Dean, Ms. Cheryl Fox, Mr. Doug Angelo, and Ms. Carol Langley present. I do know that Jeff Frazier and Stan Donaldson will not be here. Casey may be in at some point. With that, calling into order on your agenda, we have citizens' comments number 2. We're going to scratch that and put those at the end so that this is productive and you hear exactly what's going to happen and listen to the plans, and then happy to take comments and questions after that. So moving right along, we'll go to presentation, number 3 on the agenda, presentation and discussion of the Business Improvement Grant Guidelines by Kimberly Gonzalez, Assistant Director of Economic Development. And Ms. Gonzalez.
Hello. Thank you all for being here. Before I get started on the grant presentation, I wanted to just kind of give a general statement. Thank you for joining us for the Downtown Improvements public meeting. For those that I have not yet had the opportunity to meet, my name is Kimberly Gonzalez, and I am the Assistant Director of Economic Development for the City of Montgomery. The Downtown Improvements Project is funded by the Montgomery Economic Development Corporation and supported by the City Council. Construction is anticipated to begin later this year, with completion expected in spring of 2027. This project is intended to enhance our historic downtown by improving walkability, pedestrian and traffic safety, accessibility, and the overall visitor experience while preserving the unique character and history that make Montgomery so special. Throughout construction, the city is committed to minimizing impacts on local businesses by carefully phasing the work schedule, with particular attention given to the holiday season and other peak business periods. This evening, our project team, including WGAE Consulting Engineers and Buxton Landscape Architecture, will provide an overview of the planned improvements, discuss the project timeline, and highlight key milestones as we move toward construction. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to share information, answer questions, and hear all of your feedback. To begin, I will provide an overview of the new Business Improvement Grant Program, which is scheduled to launch through the Montgomery Economic Development Corporation this October. Following that presentation, I will turn the meeting over to our engineering and landscape architecture teams, who will walk you through the project design, construction phasing, and anticipated timeline in greater detail. And at the conclusion of our presentations, we'll open the floor for public comment and questions. We appreciate you all being here and for your participation. And we will go ahead and move into the Montgomery Economic Development Corporation's Business Improvement Grant Program. You can go ahead and switch to the next slide, please. Okay, the Montgomery Economic Development Corporation's Business Improvement Grant Program is designed to encourage investment in local businesses and commercial properties by providing financial assistance for improvements that enhance the community's economic vitality and appearance. By supporting business growth, downtown revitalization, and commercial development, the program seeks to help create jobs, increase property values, attract visitors, and strengthen Montgomery's tax base while preserving the character that makes the community unique. Before we go into the eligible improvements, I did just want to give a bit more background to the program because this is a very quick presentation. It's just a few slides, and then the bulk of tonight will be turned over to the engineering and landscape team. The Business Improvement Grant Program is a new initiative that's funded by the Montgomery Economic Development Corporation, or MEDC, and is scheduled to launch on October 1st of 2026. The program is available to all eligible businesses located within the city of Montgomery, but we do encourage and we are hopeful that our downtown businesses will take advantage of the opportunity. As the Downtown Improvements Project moves forward, this program will serve to complement the downtown improvements by helping property owners and businesses make improvements to their own buildings and sites. There is an application that must be submitted to apply for the program, and the MEDC will review all applications to determine funding and eligibility. So let's talk about some of the potential eligible improvements that we've listed out in the guidelines. These include things such as facade improvements, sign improvements, general property improvements, landscaping improvements, business displacement grant, and a mega grant. So let's touch on each of these, and then I'll give more specific examples of things that would be covered under this grant program if the business is eligible. So for facade improvements, we look at things such as awnings, window and door replacement, enhancing exterior building lighting. For sign improvements, we're referring to storefront signage. And this is for installation, renovation, and removal projects. General property improvements would be things such as HVAC upgrades, plumbing upgrades, electrical repairs, improving decorative fencing, streetscape amenities such as outdoor street furniture would also be included in this. Landscaping improvements, of course, this is things such as shrubs, vines, hedges, trees or palms, landscape lighting. Let's go to the mega grant. We'll come back to the business displacement grant. The mega grant may be awarded for a multi-tenant retail business. This is when, rather than a sole tenant, the actual business owner of an entire building is putting in for improvements for that building. So it would include a larger project, and it has different requirements in terms of investment into this. And then the business displacement grant, this is designed to aid businesses that have been displaced from their current place of business due to the property selling. That is the intent and the heart behind this project. This one is on a month-to-month basis, and this would help match rent for a property for up to 6 months. Like it said, on a month-to-month basis. Aside from the business displacement grant, which is on that month-to-month matching field, the rest of these improvements are reimbursement grants. So let's say someone does a project that is $10,000 to improve stairways and accessible entryways. The MEDC will then reimburse that business $5,000, which is half of that expense, to match 1-for-1 if the project is approved. And we can go to the next slide, please. More specific project examples: replacing entryway stairs and/or accessible ramps for entry into the business, adding in landscape lighting and shrubbery outside of your business, replacement of storefront signage with new signs, facade improvements such as addition of awnings, door and window replacement, and certain exterior painting projects, and projects that improve safety and functionality such as electrical systems and HVAC upgrades. We can move on to the next slide, please. Funding. All grants, with the exception of the business displacement grant, are reimbursement grants. For fiscal year 2026 to 2027, $25,000 has been set aside preliminarily. This can be changed depending on how the program goes and at the direction of the board. And the application for this business improvement grant will open on October 1st of 2026. And along with the guidelines, you'll receive an application and all the other requirements that go along with applying for the grant, and that will go through me and through the MEDC office. And I think that's the last slide. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is presentation and discussion of the downtown improvement project by Buxton Landscape Architect, WGA Consulting Engineers, and City Staff.
Hello, good evening, EDC and Council. Just want to provide a little bit of context to the project overall. As Council and EDC are aware, this project has gone through a couple of iterations over the last couple of years, and so wanted to kind of paint the overall picture of how we ended up here. So first, this project was previously scoped out in kind of multiple, actually, let me back up. Introductions: Zachary Tim, WGA City Engineer, and then I have Kat Lynch with Buxton Landscape Architect. She is the sub on the downtown improvement project. Now, back to how we got here. This project was previously scoped out in a couple of different projects. One was a downtown water line replacement that looked at upsize multiple water lines along McCown Street, College Street, Caroline Street, from existing 4 and 6 inch to 8 and 12 inch. And so That is one project that was previously in design but got put on pause due to funding. Another project that was considered was the McCown Street streetscape improvements that was previously considered. This looked to do paving improvements along McCown Street from College to Caroline, allowing for improvements to add very similar brick paving to the center of McCown from College to Caroline. That project was ultimately put aside and then combined with the waterline project. And now what this project entails is upsizing the waterline along McCown Street. The additional waterline components will be added during a separate project at a future date. Paving improvements, which again was roped in with this project, and storm improvements as well. We've been able to increase the scope of the project, and so instead of Caroline to College, it's now from College to 105. And again, all within the realm of what we previously budgeted for those individual projects. Now we're including paving, landscaping improvements, lighting improvements, waterline, and storm. And so all of that was done to kind of help with the city and making sure that we're not going in downtown and ripping up newly constructed infrastructure at one time or multiple times and now doing it at once, ultimately with the goal of minimizing destruction and displacement and lack of access to the downtown community. And so that is how we ended up here, and I will give it to Kat to kind of talk about some of the specific landscape improvements for the project.
Exactly. So we can flip sides, please.
This was just sort of how we started, high-level, big picture concepts that I'm going to talk about in the design. I wanted to have imagery to accompany it. So we're talking about improvements that are pedestrian realm. So that's going to be upgraded paving, pavers, trees, street trees, but all of the impact is going to be low maintenance. So when we're talking about trees down McCown, we're thinking about putting them in tree grates, like you'll see in the images to the right. Planters, so then that also, the tree grates improve your walkability and gives more of a pedestrian zone to walk. Any planting would be in planters, again, to keep maintenance at ease. And then we're trying to maintain the beautiful historic charm of the downtown, and also provide opportunities for highlighting the charm of downtown. So these are just inspirational pictures. If you could flip to the next slide. This is our overall concept that Zach was saying, that goes from College Street all the way to 105. And when we're looking at the right-of-way along McCown, all the improvements that we just talked about are suggested in those little dots, but I have blow-ups of each area. So I have the north area, if you'd like to zoom in there. Next slide, please. This is the north end. So we are north is planned left, and those are your existing pavers right there at College Street. Then what we're suggesting is improving the parking situation throughout the whole project. So streamlining that into head-in parking one way on McCown, improving pedestrian walkways, so crossing streets is going to be safer and more designated with improvements mid-street crossings, and then also at Caroline. The other side amenities, aside from the trees and the grates that we would see, would be some benches and your historic acorn lights that sort of with facelift, and a nice unified rhythm and pattern down your streetscape. The next slide would be sort of a cross-section of the north end there, looking at what we would want to do with some lighting, and you can see that there to the left, that's to scale the person and that wider area for pedestrians to walk, but also keeping cars sort of at one end as well. This is a sketch-up rendering of an example of like mid-street crossings and what we would suggest in terms of fixed benches, again, planters in pots, and keeping that pedestrian realm very nice and open for walkability. That's the north side. Next slide, please. It's going to be the south end. So now we're looking at Caroline to 105. Again, coming down McCown, we are introducing one-way parking, a new upgraded sidewalk on the west side and also on the east side. Again, trees. Those trees would be set in landscape, not in pavers. There's a little bit more breadth to the roadway there. And then
sort of the golden child to this entry to your downtown is right there at the hard corner of Liberty and 105, where we are taking and a little bit of an extrapolation of the Texas Star and making that a pedestrian feature with a historic tree right in the middle, and then anchoring it as a beacon to come into downtown with a new monument sign. And that is on the next slide, I believe. Here's some sections and cross sections of what that sign would look like, and where our historic tree would be set up nice and proud, so that from all corners and vantage points along that intersection, you can see that you're entering a new special place. Next slide, please. Now this is a SketchUp, a rendering of the monument sign, and it was done by a lighting designer or sign designer, LED Partners, but we are working in conjunction with them to get that merriment to that extrapolated Star Plaza. Next slide, please. There's the South Plaza again. You can see also we're in the pavings at 105 and then at John Butler and at Caroline. Again, we're introducing new pavings in those intersections to give you a sense of place, a sense to slow down, and that you're entering something special. And again, that vehicular slowdown is really very important when we're talking introducing people walking in this space. There's that.
And then now, kind of just to discuss, the phasing of the project. Understanding that there will be immediate impact to downtown business owners. That is one of the higher priorities of this project. Is when we enter construction, we're not wanting to take away any potential economic benefit from the downtown project. So what we're proposing is phasing of a project to minimize that impact. And so looking kind of at that far left exhibit, you'll see kind of full closure of McCown from Caroline to 105. This would still allow access for the property owners on the east and west to still have access to their businesses, and then stalling construction north of Caroline until after the busy season of the holidays. Understanding that we're bidding this project around September, so construction will start Q3 of this year all the way through Q1 of next year. Wanting to minimize that impact to those downtown property owners, especially during the holidays. And so kind of going from that, looking at the next phase of construction, the middle exhibit and the right exhibit, and on the next page as well, we're thinking of only isolating quadrants of McCown from College to Caroline, again, to continue access so there's no full cutoff of traffic. Obviously, there will be delays and detours, but we will minimize that the best we can with the contractor once we get into construction. And so at any given time, there will still be through traffic available for downtown property owners and pedestrians and vehicle traffic. So we're not closing off McCown at any one time during this construction. And as you look kind of just over these exhibits, you'll see how we're proposing some of this detour traffic from College to Caroline to 105 to 149 to Maiden, Prairie, etc. Utilizing those streets the best that we can. And again, as we get further in along with design and start scoping this out with contractors, we'll be able to better ascertain how to better do that during construction. Right now, this is a very preliminary sketch, and we'll actually have something concrete planned and coordinated with staff, PD, as well as the contractors during construction. And again, kind of, wrapping up the presentation, understanding that this project is, going to be a very paramount project for the city. It's going to be setting the stage for what downtown Montgomery is, making sure that all stakeholders are involved in the planning process, but understanding that there will be short-term discomfort for a long-term benefit. And so, wanting to make sure that that is echoed and that sentiment is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we would be opening the floor for citizens' comments. If you've got any questions, please feel free to come to the podium and announce who you are, and we're happy to take any questions. Yes, sir. Comments, Mark.
I noticed on the diagram that the trees and shrubs in front of my business would be removed. might really look good. It's gonna take all the shade that's available on the west side of the building. And it's really hot in the sun in summertime there. So having the trees across the street is not really gonna help shade or cool off the walkway. So I would be against that. And the other thing is I have natural plants. I have palmettos in the front, you know, native to the area. And so it looks like it's Montgomery because it's got palmettos in it, you know. We've got them all around, and also crepe myrtles. So,
So can you go back to that slide real quickly so we can see your visual? And then maybe talk about the methods of
And
madness?
we didn't add your plants in there.
okay.
About 6 inches of it is in our right of way. The rest of it is your private property. And that's kind of where I discussed with you the other day. And this is where that grant would come in or something, you know, if we put planters there, if we don't disrupt that at all. I mean, there are a few of those that are kind of up to the front. There's no reason why we have to tear all of that out there. I think it's going to be just meeting with you, and then once we bid this out, we'll be able to come have a discussion with you and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is.
I was supposed to meet with you on Tuesday. I'm sorry. I never made it, but that's my only concern.
Yeah, and we have looked at that, and of course we've got landscape, you know, that we can draw in, whether that's even a little more protected planter or something, you know, that you can decide on your own, because most of that, other than about 6 inches, is your private property. So,
Thank you.
Okay, so to that point though, he brings up a good point. So from like Larry Jacobs all the way down to Tennessee, do we think that trees there is the best, because it gets some of the morning sun and the noon sun, and they didn't get that west afternoon sun?
what are you asking?
So those
Do we
trees
have
on the,
trees on his side of the.
yeah, and it's on his side versus the other side is what I'm asking. Like the greenery is on the most western side, it looks
Yes.
like.
The problem is
it-
between the parking and the actual private property.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
I don't know where we would go with it.
okay,
Well,
just curious. Go
There
ahead.
used to be a big tree right by Jacob's, right about here, and they cut it down.
Yeah.
That provided a bunch of shade. They cut that down, and my stuff is like right here. So, and right here.
And it could be potential, you know, up towards those corners to add more trees. I don't know how we would fit them on his side there, because there's just not enough.
And then I was just curious, are you talking about dollars, what do you think about those trees on that side?
Which trees are you talking about?
It looks like there may be like
So
one
why
or two.
don't you come up to our property and you can show us literally where the tree's gonna go over there, so we can have a gray area.
Well, this is a concept, so this is not in stone what
But
we're doing.
we
We're just-
live over there, so you guys can come and meet with all the property owners, so you can show us what you are planning to do over there. Exactly.
Go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Rebecca Loriga with Texas and Beyond. I have a quick question. Is that okay?
Yeah, go right ahead.
So I'm looking at all of the beautification that's happening on McCown Street, and I'm wondering if there will be any duplication of greenery and pots for the businesses that are off on Liberty. Because I'm not sure I saw it. I missed it.
I can answer. Yeah. So it is in the plan, and we do plan to do that. Some of that we'll have to do through the grant program. Some of it we can duplicate with, you know, planters and different things that we purchase planters. But yes, I mean, the difficulty there, as you well know, it's TxDOT, it's not our city road, so we run into that. But if on your private property, you would like the EDC to help you with some of those things, and I think we really talked to you about that, I think there's an opportunity there.
Okay, so that's through the grant. Okay.
Yes.
All right, part one. Part two, is there any plans to update, there is a sign that calls out the businesses as you enter the
And a wayfinding sign right there on the corner.
Correct, so right at 105 and Liberty, it's a little quote-unquote tacky. So is there any plans to update that sign?
Yes, yes, I'll answer that too. So we're in the process, the MEDC has already approved the production of this sign. That will be a lot nicer. If you'd like, sometime I'll have Kimberly bring down, show you the pictures of it. Now, we're not gonna place it until the construction, because we don't want it to be in the way or get damaged or whatever, but yes, it will replace that white sign.
Okay, part B, I'm sorry, part B.
Go right ahead. That's what you're here for.
So, I'm a little competitive. So we have Conroe and the Woodlands are very proud of their arts. So are we going to add arts on that sign also, in addition to?
Just indicating the flag sign right there.
So,
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the actual signs themselves are already developed, designed, and starting in August, they'll be implemented throughout the city. Not specifically downtown to begin with because of the construction that's going to be going on, but around entrances. All of the signs, the big sign package of wayfinding. As far as art is concerned, there's no specific art designation. I don't think, Kimberly,
we
right?
actually built into the grant program, into the facade improvement, that murals that are painted on buildings may be included in the grant program. So like if someone wants to do a mural in downtown and submit to have part of that covered by the EDC, then that is included. But what else are you referring to when you talk about art?
Yeah, let me just back up. So one of the things that, for example, we have the street dance, right, which is a form of art, right? And I hope that the city continues that because it brings a lot of young people to downtown. So that's a form of art. We can have concerts in that similar area. That's a form of art. We have a fine arts gallery in downtown, just in case anybody didn't know we have one. So that's art as well. So what I'm asking as part of my part A question is on that sign, and I realize that you have already defined your sign, you just kind of copy paste, but I was wondering if there's an opportunity to say that there is art, A-R-T, which encompasses dancing, fine arts, painting, music, all of that is a form of art. So to highlight that we have that offering in the downtown area as well.
So I think the sign that we're doing, you'll be able to do that. It has a big area that we can put in there.
Perfect.
I mean, it's not designed to like advertise businesses
No,
or anything.
we're talking.
It's designed to tell people where to go.
Exactly, like antiques, restaurant, yes, art, food.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
question.
exactly what it'll do.
Thank you.
I mean, as a general question, do you like the design, the concept as of today? Do you think this is an improvement? It definitely adds, we're adding more parking, we're adding more walkability, making the change for one-way traffic. McCown, today you lose the tooth if you fail. McCown's is really bringing it up to a very nice, smooth road and easy to traverse, whether you're in a car, a bike, or in tennis shoes.
Would you like to say something, Mr. Chudowitz?
I just had a quick one. You said added parking. How many parking spaces are we adding?
And we're actually adding in downtown, I believe, 40.
Where? Yeah.
Where at? Just curious.
So if you go to the next slide, so actually, previous slide, really quick. All the parking on, overall, okay. So all the parking north of Caroline is existing. We're not taking away, we're not adding. The parking on the south side, we're adding parking on that northern lot, adjacent to Caroline and adjacent to McCown, extending on McCown parking from the Historic Society Museum, and then south of that, we're adding a few parking spots as well. So overall, downtown, there will be approximately 38. We're still going through design, finalizing everything, but we will be adding parking downtown.
So Caroline between Liberty and McCown?
It's like 105 up to.
So added parking here, and then added parking here, and then added parking.
Where the trees came down and where that lot is.
Correct.
Yeah, gotcha.
But we're also going to have parking at the new city hall.
Yeah.
And a little bit of wall, but.
And And that'll be open all the time? That'll be open all the time for public parking?
Yes, yeah.
And in the design of the municipal complex right now, we're gonna extend that parking lot, so we're, of course, we haven't bid that project out yet, but we are trying to add more parking in the front as well.
And Mr. Chilowitz, too, when we saw the first rendering of City Hall,
It adds 100 parking spots to the existing there today, plus these 38. So approximately 140 from gyms to 105. City Hall.
Well, I didn't really want to come up to the, we just want to double check, we're still down there by the museum, gonna be able to do like a nice little fence or something for the baby.
that is correct, yeah, and it's cordoned off today, you're right.
Zach, one last question I was gonna ask.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Diane.
No, you're good.
This project from start to finish, even though it's gonna be like increments and stuff, so it won't disrupt businesses, because I mean, because that would be, how long do you think the whole total thing would be? Because I'll have your short-term things.
Right, so if we're going to bid out in September, and starting contracts is probably another month, so October for actual notice to proceed with the contractor, getting them out on site middle of October, probably just thinking about straight construction, probably ending around March of 2027. That's not accounting for the phasing, so it may delay a little bit, but probably about March when you think about the landscaping, the paving, the storm, the water line.
So it's from 105 to whatever, it will be done.
Yes.
5 months?
So whether they have will be.
Weather will obviously have that 5-month time frame is, ideal situations.
Well, and so let's just go ahead, as people are like thinking about it, the parade route will be changing, so therefore that will not impact the construction that's happening on McCown.
Correct.
Okay.
No, that's fine. Could you give us a better idea of when Jim's Hardware parking and all of that would be impacted? Because with the Historical Society, putting on the vendors and the cookie walk, we're struggling to find a place for our vendors to park. And we wondered if it was even a possibility to park in the gym's parking lot area.
100%, public parking.
Yes, it's always
They'll
gonna
be
be.
getting there and unloading like at 5:30 in the morning, but they need a place to park.
You say it's public parking, but no one knows it.
Yeah, maybe we need a sign.
parking sign.
So we're still transitioning. Yeah.
It's closed on the weekends, they're wide open.
No, I understand that.
City Hall.
But that would
But there's no signage, so people that don't.
Transition, right? So we're still trying,
But anybody can park there. I see people park there all the time. Nobody gets a ticket, nobody gets towed, nothing happens. You just park there. It's the people's parking lot, because it's owned by the city.
I was going to say, would y'all like to see?
Yeah, we, like Brent was saying, we have the wayfinding signs going in, and this was added after we approved that, the building. So we'll just add more wayfinding signs, yeah, but.
Those will be directional to
Of course.
City Hall, the other parking,
Yeah, like
all the
you
public
said,
parking.
The parking here, and public parking there, and not paid parking, it's just, but that's gonna be a massive, that's no more than almost double what the parking is now.
And those signs that you're talking about there for like the City Hall and the other public parking that we already have, those can go in now, right? Because that has nothing to do with the McCown Street. So are those planning soon?
The project, the City Hall project was not even on a thought when we've been doing this now for 4.5 years. So it's just now coming to fruition that these signs are going to be implemented. But to answer your question, we will add those parking signs to the City Hall area as a directional because it's a part of the city now.
We've already created one that shows, City Hall this way. But we could make standard public parking signs to put over there until then.
Even Sam's City Hall right now, just the actual public parking that we currently have, to call that out so that people do know, so they don't park everywhere that they're not supposed to park.
Yeah, I'm a victim of that as well, so I understand. But yeah, we're definitely on top of the parking directionals, and it'll also be on our website too, so there's a lot. Now that we have some extra horsepower with Kimberly, she will be guiding us in making sure that everything gets buttoned up so people know where they're going.
And we have about 6 public parking signs where there is public parking down there, and they're going to be very identifiable, so you'll be able to, that's part of the wayfinding project.
So we're about to make our flyer for all these vendors, and we just want to make sure we don't have too many and too little parking. So you don't think the gym's parking lot will be an issue at December 12th?
No.
Okay, good.
And also, the school is a great partner to the city, so if they wanted to park down there, down Upper, and that parking lot too, I mean, we can.
We thought about running shuttles or golf carts, but.
And I still think, Diane, that that's not a bad, because some of them are gonna have, this cargo van, I think, that they may do better parking.
They might.
By the school and not the school out there, because some of them will have bigger than just a vehicle.
And the Lopez, that commercial there on Clover across from the school, and they're very partners as well as the city, and they're open to people parking there.
Great.
Okay.
And I think we'll be able to put some temporary public parking during that time, because construction of that building is also going to start during that time. But a lot of that is going to be pre-stuff over where I don't know what you call that, where we used to store his lumber, the building that's beside, that's coming out, and then that'll be the staging area. Okay. But the parking out front should still be unaffected.
Great.
Yes, ma'am?
What are pavers? Tell me what pavers are. Bricks?
Yeah, bricks.
They're bricks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have bricks in the front of our shop, and twice a year, it's the bricks, and then we have steps. And twice a year, we have to pick up those bricks and add more soil. Twice a year, because they sink. I'm not so sure that pavers there are they're gonna move.
So definitely agree with that sentiment. What we're doing on that intersection and the intersection to the south is mimicking what's done on College. Is essentially under your brick pavers is concrete pavement, so they don't shift during any type of rain.
Right. Okay, because trust me, they're going to move.
Yes,
a lot.
we've had extensive conversations about that.
And even with the pavement underneath.
That up there at College, that's been in great shape and continues to stay in great shape. That's
way back to Big Rudy.
Just be.
Well, we even talked about stainless concrete.
Right. And with the trade-off of that is, you have to refresh that paint on stamped concrete versus the brick is pretty much that color permanent. So, but definitely understand the concern on that sentiment for sure.
Do you have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
What happens to KO Corner? Bench?
We're not changing anything.
Okay. Is the bench gonna be moved out while construction is done, or?
Are they gonna work around it?
What are?
So we'll be protecting all of those historic markers on that corner of Caroline and McCown. There actually have been plans and conversations of improving that canopy area. So definitely continue to keep that historical marker there, or relocating it somewhere north, closer to the community center. But again, the thoughts are still.
The KO corner, there's a
Not
bench there. That's what you have.
the bench. Okay, not the bench, not the bench.
Yeah.
The plaza marker.
Gazebo.
Gazebo. Thank you.
I call it the bus stop. It looks like a bus stop.
The bench will stay in place.
Okay, all right. It's a bus stop. It's a bus stop. That's all it's ever been.
Can you guys talk a little bit about the backside of the businesses on Liberty to McCown? If you guys plan on improving that at any point, or?
It's like down Maiden.
Yeah, on the west side of McCown. That's the backside of those businesses, and it could stand some improvement from purely objective standpoint.
They could get grants, but they would, the buildings.
Yeah, that's why we have the grant program. Working on a private side, let's typically back up to the album. Yeah, that's scenario back. Yeah, the state can't touch me as the private side, that's what we're talking grant program.
What about trash cans? With this improvement on this street, it's nice, and just to his point, it is the backside of their buildings, and that is where they put their trash cans. So what is gonna happen with those?
So we've done a study on doing trash cans for specific businesses, like these businesses go to this can. And I don't know, Brent, what y'all decided to do with that. Have a centralized, so we can pull the green trash cans off the streets, right? So
The tricky part is there's no real right of way to put dumpsters or anything. There's no real alleys. The alleys have become streets. So there's, I mean, you do see some on Maiden, even though that's a street. So really.
It's not a walking street though. Maiden is not really a walking street.
Yeah, but people still drive. And we are going to create a one-way on Maiden to match the one-way on McCown to create it going around this way because it's so skinny. The point is, we don't have easy access to public property to set dumpsters. So there has to be some way to work with the businesses to have their trash cans, however that is.
That's more what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I don't think dumpsters are the answer to this. I mean, something that the city could help them with a somehow cover or facade that goes around them that they can cover them.
That's been on our radar for a long time. We could use some input from the stakeholders downtown on that because we can't just go in and disrupt.
Of course.
We wouldn't do that anyway. But we need some suggestions because it's kind of a sticky wicket. We're not quite sure how to make that work for everybody. But if you guys got some suggestions on how to make that work, please share it with us.
Maybe we can really talk about some type of covered dumpsters probably for 6, maybe 8 years now, that we can have in the ordinances. It just hasn't happened yet, but I'd love to see it happen.
I mean, unfortunately, it's gonna be on each individual business owner to do it because there is nothing you guys can do to force it at this point, I don't
It's
think.
hard to know a person's property.
Right, I mean, we'd be more than willing to put a 6-foot fence up, maybe even an 8-foot fence.
Right.
That would block the trash cans.
That's not gonna be.
But we're on Maiden, so again, it's really not a walking route. But seriously, people walk down McCown and there's trash cans every 20 feet.
How are they gonna have the trash picked up during construction? Are they gonna have to push them out to the ends of the corners? I mean, we did that for the Antique Festival, I pushed everybody's.
So we'll definitely coordinate that with the local trash pickup and the contractor. So construction trash is coordinated as well as regular operating businesses trash is coordinated. That'll just have to get worked out a little bit further into the process.
Maybe it would be for a short amount of time, putting it on me, and just because of the trash guy can just about not taking everybody's.
We haven't discussed putting
That's a long walk for you. I don't want that. That's a long walk for them.
it's just for a little bit of time.
Anybody else? Questions, concerns, feedback?
Can I share one thing? So EDC has been working on this close to 5 years. It has taken forever, through 2 administrations. We have a wonderful, wonderful marketing campaign. We have a good team. We have a lot of goodness coming to downtown, and it's going to be a glam. We're not changing the culture of the city, the look of the city. We just want to have facelift to the city, give it a little love. If you've got ideas on how to make that better, this is a great time to start sharing those. But just know this, we've been working tirelessly to try to get this to the finish line. We're really close with wayfinding, with a new city streetscape, with other marketing things that are coming down the road. Over the next couple months, we're going to see a lot of marketing for the city to bring business to our downtown area. And there's other ancillary businesses that are coming in that are going to create jobs and add more volume to your businesses. I'm part of that community, so I understand how important it is to bring people downtown. So just know this, we're real excited. It's getting so close. And when you start seeing it all come together, I think you're going to be proud again of Texas.
You know what I did, I think that's what I say, because it really doesn't apply to the majority of y'all here, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful, but for myself, TJ, the Cheathams, this is all done with sales tax money. This is not our property tax increase or anything, so we have to give kudos for that. This is sales tax. This is what you businesses bring into us, and that it is not increasing the property taxes for your businesses or for our residents.
It's important.
It is very important to me because
I have a question off topic, but 149 on Main Street, are there any plans to make that look better? Like
There is, so TxDOT, we just had a meeting recently with TxDOT, and they are gonna be doing remilling and redoing, but there's not the right of way on the sides, because if they do, it takes off in front of, from Cozy all the way to Larry Jacobs, it takes off that whole entire walkway. And we don't want that either, right? So, but TxDOT is redoing the road from 1097 to 105. They were gonna try to start doing it when we were doing McCown Street, so luckily we had that meeting, and now that's been called off to do it a little bit later, so that we don't have two big thoroughfares shut down a long amount of time. When that's gonna happen? Later next year, after all of this happens. It's getting prettier, but there's not any changes per se, unfortunately.
mainly, it's kind of dangerous, the sidewalks in front of, well, not even the parking, but just the sidewalks are rough and they're not consistent, and so it's not, really pedestrian friendly.
Yeah, and that's a big reason to bring McCown to be the heartbeat and not 149, and bringing people over here to walk. If they want to go to the west side of 149, they can cross over 149 certainly, but it's to bring the traffic. Right now, most of the traffic is on McCown and 149, but we can kind of bring it to the McCown side, it's a lot safer.
So I mean, Rancher's daughter and the bank H lines, they're not gonna be able to operate on McCown.
Say that again? They'll not be with.
I mean, people are still gonna need to get over to the west side.
100%, I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying that we're adding all of that parking, gets them off of 149 parking that's not really there. It's in the right of way of TxDOT. Let's get them parked where they're gonna be safe, and it's better for them to walk across than it is to park there and dodge traffic and walk around.
And the other thing about TxDOT, everyone as residents, you get a hold of your state reps. Let me tell you what, they are the people who should be talking to TxDOT along with us, because just one little city does not really, I don't think it moves a whole lot, but when their constituents, the reps' constituents start talking about it, then you sometimes get a little bit better action.
There's just not the right of way there to improve it. They talked about doing the walkways, but they can't because of now the spaces. Then they talked about doing the turn lane years ago, 9 or 10 years ago, and that was gonna shut down businesses for 3 months at a time per block, and businesses won't thrive doing that either. So it's a huge conundrum, and it's what to do without impacting business to get better mobility so that they come up with.
What about sidewalks right in front of the businesses?
But so that's the right of way, but they.
So you mean TxDOT has a right of way up to like the boutique?
Say that one more time?
So I mean, where does the right of way end, I guess?
I don't know exactly. Where is exactly the right of way end?
It is a little cloudy, even from TxDOT standpoint. So if you look kind of on this picture, you'll see kind of that dashed line on the east side of Liberty Street. Effectively, where your parking stalls end on, that Historic Society building is where the right of way is. And so to the point of adding in sidewalks, redoing paving and expanding that so it's more safe for residents and pedestrians to cross, it is very hard because of the right of way acquisitions that have to happen. And so realizing we had a conversation, like Sarah mentioned, with TxDOT a couple weeks ago on that exact thing. And so we're doing what we can to work with TxDOT on improving that area because we understand that it is a hotspot for pedestrian traffic. And TxDOT has been made aware of our concerns, but again, it's TxDOT. I don't know if any of y'all work with TxDOT, y'all day to day. They are hard to get on the radar. So definitely understand they plan 40, 50 years out. And so thinking of that, we are, constantly asking, constantly promoting the city's interest and concerns on mobility, traffic, pedestrian safety, etc.
That's why we should take out our safe rescue out there.
Well, and TxDOT was planning that 10 years ago, and they got their hands slapped big time, so they're really gun shy about talking about 149, because the businesses came, which was the right thing to do. What happened, them not doing anything, because what they were gonna do was gonna kill everything.
So along with that, for those businesses, and because we watch people do it all the time, how about crosswalks?
So TxDOT will not support a crosswalk at Caroline and 149.
What about the existing crosswalk? Can they just at least
There
repaint
is
the one
existing on
by
College,
Rancher's Daughter, right?
Those two up there, they will not support one down on Caroline. Because it's too close to that. They told us that we could put up a sign, but the minute somebody gets hit, then that's gonna be on us, because that's not a TxDOT approved walkway.
So the crosswalk that's currently there, is there plans to repaint?
Yeah, that's part of the whole milling and all of that. They'll restripe everything and make it more prominent. Up there by Burger Fresh and then by Rancher's Daughter. Those are the two TxDOT approved walkways.
And those are gonna be repainted soon?
Question for Mr. Walker. With the addition of the city hall and that public parking, is there gonna be anything to facilitate an easier transition for pedestrians going south versus having to walk out
onto
149?
Yeah, so from over Klepper into the community center and or going down Main.
Is there that
And
in this project or is that down the line?
Different, well, so we had talked about redoing the whole community center.
In the municipal complex, and part of it's gonna be in a second, third phase of what we're doing on McCown on the backside. Because we're also, there's a sidewalk coming from the old school down there. We're gonna connect that all the way down and bring it across. That way there's a walkway between the community center and the new building. That way there's a crosswalk back. So yeah, that's all in the plan.
Great question.
Can I just ask why they tore down the tree?
Which tree?
The big tree on the corner of 105 and the one that they're gonna put a new tree there.
What tree would it be?
So,
The tree right there at 105 and 149?
That were pecan trees.
Not hearing. Why did they do it?
It was junk trees.
to make room for parking.
It's horse apple trees, they're bodog trees.
Burdock trees, it has a green apple things.
Yeah.
I just get lots of people that ask, so I just want the reason why that one big tree on the corner was torn down.
Okay, they were all talking about those 100-year trees.
Okay.
Here in 1975 when they weren't there, so pretty sure they're not 100-year trees.
And we are putting more trees back.
Yeah, I was just, people asked why they were, so I just.
Which heritage trees? Pecan.
What is the mound of dirt?
Well, we showed that there, so
I
that's the
didn't see
Liberty
it.
tree.
Is that gonna be the big tree?
Yes, the Liberty tree to celebrate America's 250, and then to have the McCown, big Lone Star, and then the McCown has a nice flag in front of that.
Okay, thanks.
And what kind of tree is that gonna be?
What kind of tree? It's a.
That's a Shumard oak.
Yeah.
It's being donated by the Daughters of the Revolution. They will be here in August. They're gonna bring a marble, I believe it is, plaque to designate it as the Montgomery Liberty Tree. And conversation is to call that the Liberty Park, to kind of create this whole, star thing.
That's actually on the agenda.
It'll be kind of cool when it's done.
There was actually a lot of thought put into this. They didn't just go out and cut a bunch of trees down and say, all right, let's figure this out now.
I guess part of it was that none of us businesses were told. So it was like one day they just came out and cut all the trees. It's like, oh, okay, well, there goes all the shade.
It's been very tough years. I mean, it doesn't, this has been a long haul. It shouldn't have taken this long, to be honest. But if you want to improve this place, yeah, there's going to be some changes that everybody has to deal with.
Will it be lit up at night?
Yes.
There are some, there's lighting.
Just on the tree?
And then
It'll be a landmark site.
It's good. You know, we've heard a lot about
Downtown and improvements, but everybody here has concerns about our city, along with us. But our objective as council is to make sure the thoroughfares coming into the city highlight what we see when we get to the villas. So that's something that TJ and I, we talked about it, we've been working on, because time is great, but there's a lot more go home, and all four directions. So if we can enhance all four directions coming into the city, that got to be our objective as well.
Not just east and west, but also north and south.
Right.
And then now that we've tackled this major piece, and it's taken forever, we have great administrative support. But now that that's done, the money's been put aside, it's ready to go, we can start focusing on the areas that TJ and Arnett are talking about that really need to be cleaned up coming into our city. And I think they've got some good plans on how to do that. So a lot of, it's one step, baby step at a time. We got an administration that moves super quick now, which we didn't have before, and it's been really a lot of fun. You guys are going to get excited when you start to see some of these things.
Finally happening. It's good.
So is the grant money only there for businesses? Do we allocate that money anywhere else?
The business improvement grant is a general grant for any business located in the city of Montgomery. So, in the grant guidelines, there will be reference to the historical overlay with design recommendations, so that's been included. And the intent is that any business in the city can apply for the grant funding.
Basically to clean up the back of their buildings on McCown.
Yes.
Is there anything in there for light? I mean, as far as like the northbound.
No, it has to, a business is defined as it has to be for profit.
Okay.
Yes.
There could be potential other types of grants for that, though.
So only a for-profit can apply for these grants, is that correct?
Yes, it's because of like the actual definition of a business and business improvement grant. So it has to be someone that's turning a profit. So, yeah.
So like the project that we've talked about and Mr. TJ with the cemetery, he came, I don't know how many months ago, but that's a project that EDC can take up. That's a nonprofit, that's historic, so we can do those projects too.
I wasn't trying to trick you. This specifically is for businesses. If it's a nonprofit, then yes, we can figure out how else to tackle that on a case by case if it falls within what the EDC can actually do legally.
Well, I know that the back of Lady looks not pristine, but the back of Gallup and where the Davis Cottage is doesn't look pristine either.
So you're asking about doing something to beautify that.
That would be historical, right? Yes.
Yeah, I think it's on topic. I actually have a meeting with the HGAC, I think in a week or two, and we're gonna sit down and talk about all the grant programs that are available. So I can ask about that when I meet with them, and then we can also look at potential for EDC
as well.
But the historic commission also has like 50 grand a year to do that.
They've only got 30 right now, we're only looking at that.
Okay. So I'm saying there's other local grant money that maybe the Historic Society could go after.
This is all, so this is gonna start with McCown, gonna also help Liberty, but then we want Maine, and we want Prairie, and we want College and Caroline all to look pristine. But this, you gotta start somewhere, so this is where we're starting. And the ideal is the whole entire experience downtown. You know you're in historic downtown Montgomery when you're here by the uniformity, the look, the feel, and how you're able to know just by optics where you are. What did you call that? The
Placemaking?
yes, so you just know where your markers. So this is just the start.
So, and I think we're headed in a very good and successful, productive direction.
I think that idea, and I mean, I have a vision because I've been staring at all this stuff for quite a while now, but when you get to McCown Street from 105, granted, there's not a lot of easy ways to turn there. But we're gonna put wayfinding signs telling them to turn, on McCown Street. And with the brickwork in the road and looking towards the community center, it's gonna create a whole visual down that road. That's kind of the idea, is to create that draw, even if somebody misses the look of it's coming back to one call back to go down there so you can see what that's about.
All right, is there anything else? It's the time. And everybody here is available anytime if you have feedback or,
wake up at 3 in the morning and have an idea, write it down, and give us a call at 8. We appreciate everybody being here with that. This section we will adjourn. Thank y'all for coming.